Alright. Hello. It'll take a second here. I'm not quite sure when it'll start. Go ahead and open the map editor on this, though. There we go. Okay, any minute now. Any minute. Any minute. Come on. I should be popping up as live. Here we go. There we go. Alright, I'm in. I don't know how many of you made it. There we go. Okay, why am I still holding this controller? I need a mouse. Alright. Let's see. Hey, Akbrix. I'm here too. Yay. Yes. Gonk Fox 64 was the best name I could come up with on the fly. But also, I don't... Oh, right. I made a new tutorial video. I don't know if you saw it, but it's very helpful for a minor quality of life thing that drives everyone crazy. Alright. Or it drives... Yeah, it drives a lot of people crazy, I suppose. Let's see. I was doing this, but then I stopped because I was working on the tutorial and I didn't really want to split my focus. So I'm just going to wrap up this little part here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Control C. I like the ping. It makes a nice... You're sadistic. You are sadistic. I'm sorry. It drives me crazy. It was also like a big frustration when I first started streaming this on Twitch. Just drove me absolutely crazy. I'm going to save there and pull up some music. How was I? Oh, right. Oh, here we go. There we go. All right. So we got that done. I'm not sure how much I'll actually get done today. Probably not a lot. I'd like to get a few things done. Earlier, I actually was off stream. Yeah, I originally was streaming on Twitch, but like I stopped after a while because I actually don't remember. I ran into some issues. None of them can be found though because I didn't record any of them. It was sort of my first trial run. That was over a year ago now though, I think. And things got really busy IRL, so... In fact, now that I think about it, I don't think you guys have seen me stream except after I moved. Yeah, that was before I moved. It was a different time. Not that different, but... yeah. So I was actually working on this map off stream, but it was literally just doing this mountain nonsense. I want to get the mountains in a pretty state. That way I can focus on other things with the map. I've been considering putting an infantry-only path through here. I think I should. I think I will. Did I get the one from last time? I did improve on it. think it looks alright. It's a lot less smooth now. I think it's alright. Okay. So I have been thinking I should put an infantry only path through here, so seems like a good thing to do. Yeah, you find out which day I have to change my UI. Oh, crap! No, I didn't. Let me type that up right now because I completely forgot to even ask. Got distracted. Okay, there. I posted it. I'll DM it to you when I figure it out. Or when I get a reply. Yeah, I swear I read someone give the solution, but it wasn't in the place I thought I read it, so I don't really know where to look for it. Lower these actually. Oh, that looks awful. But I need them to be shorter. Just all the way shorter. And I'll reflatten them after this. Hey, Opoder! You made it. Ugh. What is it like the values and stuff that's really small? It's just hard to read or something like here? This should be a dip, I think. A reverse of what it is now. Oh, actually, I'll keep these here. Make this have a dip. Oh, actually, I'll keep a slight bump. It's just a large gash in the rock, as it were. I'm curious as to what part it's actually screwing up for you. which is slid inwards, so I had to manually adjust the panel every time I wanted to use it right. The panels. You need to send me a screenshot, honestly, because I'm not sure what you're saying. Or maybe I'm just tired. I can't put into words. No, it's okay. I can't read. I can't read. What's your opinion of the new Star Wars RTS? I don't expect it to be more like Empire at War, more like Command & Conquer. I don't expect they'll do something as ambitious as Empire at War with mixing stuff. And I'm not sure if it'll be more like Command & Conquer, but I'm actually kind of dreading the introduction of a new Star Wars RTS, because the way I see it is that such a thing will probably be unmoddable, for one. Probably, well, it might have microtransactions out the wazoo. And I think most damningly is what it'll do in the long run is that people will get it, be excited, play it for like 2 months, then stop. But every time they want to play a Star Wars RTS, they're not going to be like, oh, Empire at War, let's try that. They'll be like, oh, I'm going to play the new one because it's newer, so it must be better. But then they'll play it for a month and get bored. So I view the long-term result being mostly just killing Empire at War communities. So I don't know, that's my paranoid long-term dread of it. I don't think it's going to be what people want. I think it's just going to keep people from playing Empire at War. That's maybe a hot take, but that's what I expect. I know I'm not the only person that kind of feels that way. I mean, in theory, it could be like a very moddable game, but that seems extremely doubtful. It would also probably be kind of discouraging to try to mod a game that, like, already has absurdly better graphics than anything fans can create. So that's another concern for modding. Because if they make a game, if Disney makes a game, they will make a game that looks really good. Because Disney, by tradition at least, doesn't necessarily make good video games. They just, okay, with the exception of Kingdom Hearts, because at that point they're really just giving the license to Square Enix, and Square Enix is usually good. But overall, I think Disney's concern is more looking good and having that AAA shine more than necessarily being good for a community or building a community long term. At the end, I think Empire will die. I think it would be impossible to don't have a second Empire War. At least Petroglyph will make. I don't think Petroglyph will get hired by Disney. Like, that's how I view. I'm kind of doubtful anyway. Oh, Acprix. We talked about that. I just saw your screenshot. Hang on. We talked about this. You just click this bar and drag and move it around. Looks like you have it like this, right? Just click and drag it out. At least that's what it looks like to me. I don't know. I'm just kind of doubtful of Disney. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Hang on. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. I just choked on something in the air. It reverts back to the same way every time I switch to another thing. I don't quite understand. Like, you stretch it out here, but then it just immediately snaps back? I'll try to do something more exciting than terrain. Hang on. Save there quick. Oh right, I was doing this for the thing here. No, where was it? Impossible to not have a segment part where at least Patrick. I hope they don't call it Empire War 2. I don't know. I feel like if they... Well, maybe. I feel like if they call it Empire War 2, people would be like, oh, that must be the better one because it's the second new one. It's like the Battlefront games, I guess. I don't know. Or the X... anything, really. Like, where they take the... Or Tales of the Jedi, where there's, like, a show that has nothing to do with Tales of the Jedi. Oh. That's... Oh. That might be an actual bug, Ackbricks. Huh. You could try changing your resolution. Maybe that would help. Interesting. Huh. Your resolution on your computer. Since that's probably what it's tied to, I think. I would think. Huh. Slider to move the thing in and out is very late. It takes That's very interesting. Maybe you... I don't know. Maybe you should try changing your computer's resolution. On, like... Well... I don't know. That's very peculiar. Hmm. Save there quick. Yeah, you know, maybe because you use stuff copied from my computer, that caused the problem. So maybe you should copy stuff from your own computer. I don't know. Excuse me. That's something to think about. I don't know. If Disney wasn't interested, why allow the updates? In that instance, it's less that they have to... Well, because it's basically free money. Well, Empire War is like the most selling Star Wars game on Steam, isn't it? It makes sense not to stand in the way of that. Though, okay, so Disney 15 years ago probably would have shut down Empire War to protect their IP, which would be absolutely stupid, but... They did a lot of stupid stuff in the name of litigation. More players playing the game is good if they decide to have another war. They prefer the same Empire War, I suppose, but I don't know. At the end of the day, you have to remember Disney is a systemic corporation, so what they do is almost not even predictable. Well, it's going to come down to decisions that, well, basically nothing we do has any impact on, probably. People tend to have this idea of fighting Disney, but honestly, I imagine most Disney employees don't really even have a control over Disney. It's... I don't know. Corporations are just heartless at their core because they're systems. Blah, 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 blah. I'm rambling. I think to some extent the best thing that can happen is if Disney continues to mostly ignore us until someone bugs them to be able to include something. Then they're like, okay, fine, whatever. That's the thing. Only money, so more money. Yeah. That is a good thing for us, but as long as like we don't sound like Well, as Corey would tell you, when he had to speak to Disney people or whatever as a YouTuber, he had to be very, very careful how he phrased what he did so that it didn't sound like, I make money off of modding your intellectual property. Because they will not take kindly to that. They're like, oh, someone's making money that should belong to us? Let's shut everything down. There was, I won't name names, but there was a few years ago, some drama over one of the big devs of a relatively big mod wanting to make money off of selling their mod, and basically this is in like the modder Discord or something. Every other mod was going after them saying, do not do that or you will get us all shut down. They wanted to directly sell the mod or whatever. Actually, not that long ago, there was a sub-modder that tried to do that too, and we can't actually bully people into taking stuff down, so we had to very carefully navigate talking them out of that. Because if people do that, everybody loses. Because Disney isn't going to be like, hey, this one guy with his mod is stealing our money. Money that should go to us by selling our intellectual property as mods. Let's get him. They won't do that. They'll just see it and be like, oh, okay, let's just shut down and disable all Steam-driven modding for this game. Like, we'd still be able to share files, like, discreetly and stuff. Like, you can't stop modding, but at the same time, the distribution of it would basically be halted. So, that would fuck over everybody. I mean, it would be a shot in the feet. Look, if one of the most worth things where the game didn't die, it would be a shot. I mean, you're not wrong, but they don't care. Okay, so let me put it this way. To know that is something, means you have to have an understanding of what the setup and the situation is. They don't have that, and they don't care to. Like, when I was talking about, there was this one guy who wrote for both Rebels and the Clone Wars, and while with George you have to explain a story, and you have to get him on board with your story, and you better hope his fickle nature's on board with it, because if he's not going to like it. But with Disney, you have to explain your story, but you have to, because it's going to a bunch of lawyers and PR people, not just their story team, you have to find a way to write it that they can understand it. Which means you're not telling them the story, you're basically telling them the, well, whatever bullshit. Like, it's an X story that involves Y types of characters. And they're like, oh, okay. Whereas George would be like, well, okay, so Ahsoka and Anakin will go into this base, and they'll be trapped there, and they'll have to talk for several hours and find their way out, and I was hoping we could include some of these aliens here as well. But whereas, like, to a person who doesn't care about story, you have to explain, okay, so two characters get stuck together, and they have an understanding, or something like that. You I don't know what their conversations actually are like, but it's basically dumbing things down for people who don't care about story. By the same token, you have to dumb things down for people. Well, actually, it's funny because, like, I'm thinking about, like, this happens in movies too, like, not just Disney, but, like, in general, like, you have to when you sell things to executives, you're not selling things to people who understand movies or know what a good movie is or isn't. You're basically selling it to someone who knows nothing about movies but has a lot of money. Which is how a lot of, like, bad movies will get made. Because, like, let's say at any given time, there's 3 directors. There's always 3 directors in the world who have movies about ants. And they all want to tell their story about ants, and they keep getting told no by the studio. Now, whether or not these movies about ants are actually good or not, who knows. But then A Bug's Life comes out, and it's a hit because it's by Pixar. Suddenly, all those movies about ants are being greenlit because, hey, audiences must like ants, so we should make ants movies. So now you suddenly have a bunch of movies about ants. And it's kind of insanity. And it works in reverse, too, because, like, before Pirates of the Caribbean, because there was a big blockbuster, or big, giant, high-production pirate movie that was meant to be a huge deal in the 90s, and it just did awful, and nobody watched it, it became the wisdom to believe that, okay, so audiences don't like pirate movies. We should not make pirate movies. So getting Pirates of the Caribbean made was actually a huge pain in the butt. Because of that. And in fact, the reason Pirates of the Caribbean has a soundtrack like it does is because it's actually just copying Gladiator's soundtrack, because Gladiator was a huge hit. So they're like, okay, well, at least we'll have a hit soundtrack. That's guaranteed if we copy Gladiator. And it's like, okay, yes, it was a good soundtrack, but that's a fantastic soundtrack, but that's not what made it successful. It's kind of insanity. I don't know. My personal experiences and, okay, a lot of stuff I've seen people who are more versed on film than me talk about gives me the impression that a lot of people at the top are just kind of out of touch with reality. But they know how to work the corporate world, so they control the world, but they don't actually understand it. That's partly my disdain for Disney, because they're about as corporate as it can get. Keelhaul's rambling. I mean, it's accurate. You guys knew what you were getting into. Should watch Lindsay Ellis's channel. She has some, well, she makes videos very, very rarely, but they're all really fantastic, and they talk about film and stuff. But she's got such a huge backlog that they're worth watching. I'll write it down. There you go. Lindsay Ellis. She used to be known as... Actually, you know the meme with the girl getting hit in the face by hot dogs? That's her from like 15, 20 years ago. Or something like that. It's probably not that long. If you've seen the meme of the girl getting hit in the face by hot dogs, that's Lindsay Ellis when she was younger and doing something different. Or if you know Nostalgia Critic, how he used to have like a whole bunch of channels under him, Lindsay Ellis used to be under that umbrella, but she is very much not anymore. Anyway, her videos are really smart. And if I can sell you on one, try the video Woke Disney. Q-Hall's trivia. Oh, absolutely a Poder. Q-Hall's trivia. Like, actually, going back to Gladiator, Gladiator was such a hit that that's the reason why you see all those really shitty historical movies from the mid-2000s. Because they were all just like, Gladiator sold, so we need to make Gladiator movies. It's like, okay, here's King Arthur movies, here's Alexander the Great movies, and they're just all awful. They're just terrible. Actually, if you haven't seen Lord of the Rings movies by Peter Jackson, the trilogy, you should watch those. But what I was going to say is that those movies got made the way they did because Peter Jackson convinced the studios that it would be cheaper to make 3 movies at once, which locked them in to making a trilogy without any interference. Whereas, like, if he made the movies and they were successful, they would have been like, okay, let's get one of our guys onto it so that we can tell him what to add or not add. Which goes back to what I said about Disney Star Wars. That's not a Disney thing. That's just big corporations seeing success in general. Oh, you really do hack bricks. They're very good. But because he made them all together himself, all at once, without them interfering, we have 3 pretty fantastic movies that, like, don't have corporate interference. And that's awesome. Oh, yeah. To some extent, you have to watch the extended version. That just makes them so much better. Watch them with friends. Like, make it a 12-hour event, because the whole thing's like 12 hours. Not even counting, like, the special edition extra stuff. It's funny how, like, I've heard that, like, the Blu-ray versions of them are not definitive, but the DVD ones are, because the Blu-ray ones don't have, like, the extra 30 hours of footage that the original DVD box set does. Thankfully, my family still has the box set somewhere, I'm pretty sure. But yeah. Man, okay, so I probably said this, but those movies were bigger than the prequels when they came out. As someone who was a kid when both the prequels and Lord of the Rings came out, I can tell you that Lord of the Rings were a bigger deal for many people. Those movies were huge. Like, actually, those movies' success is how a lot of video games probably got greenlit. Like, I won't necessarily say World War... Well, maybe. I imagine a lot of fantasy games got greenlit specifically because of Lord of the Rings. They, I know that it affected Elder Scrolls lore, like, the place with, the Imperials that used to be a jungle got retconned into basically looking like Helm's Deep. Because they wanted, to be like Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Go save there. I think the extension edition is the only way. They're so good. Saw it alone and consecutive, they continue to be amazing. They're so fun. I really should rewatch them, but it's probably been 10 years now. Maybe I can convince my family to watch them, since a bunch of us will be here for Christmas. Actually, I'll go text my mom that right now. Give me a second. because I'll forget if I don't. I'll just go one of these days. That's something you'd have to talk to Bray on about. Let me text my mom. All right. And send. Middle Earth 2. You know, I never played that, but I've heard good things. It's interesting because a lot of the Lord of the Rings video games were actually pretty decent, from what I've heard. Like, even the Lord of the Rings MMO is considered very flawed, but also unique and interesting enough that you can't call it terrible. Like, it's far from the best MMO out there, but it offers enough uniqueness that people can totally enjoy it without thinking that other MMOs do this better. You know what I mean? Because it offers enough of its own unique stuff that... Yeah, that's actually probably why I was so unforgiving to Star Fox Adventures, is because it wasn't like oh, this isn't good and it's not for me. It was more like, I've played this video game better already with Ocarina of Time and Star Fox at 64. Like, I mean, if you guys were watching, you probably saw how when I got to like a hard boss, I would get like really frustrated or just kind of annoyed in Adventures, but in Star Fox 64 I was just like, oh my god. Whenever it was like absurdly hard. There was never a, this is stupid. It was just always like a, this is my fault for being bad. Which is actually how you're supposed to do hard video games, is like, make the player blame themselves. By making it clear what they did wrong. Don't leave them confused. Like, make it clear, yeah, you fucked up, this is a skill issue. And they'll be happy to keep playing the game. In fact, that's Nintendo's original philosophy of Donkey Kong. Okay, I'm going to just ramble here again. Here we go. You ready, kids? The original Donkey Kong arcade game is definitely dated, but it was created as arguably the first game with actual like game design thought processes put into it, because I forget which developer it was, but it was one of Nintendo's very early developers, was watching kids at arcades play video games and trying to learn what made them good and bad. And one thing they observed was that players didn't like when they didn't understand why they took damage or something, which a lot of... Okay, so this is the days before game design even existed as a concept. And so the idea with Donkey Kong for the arcade was that they would make a game that was hard, because all arcade games were hard. They had to eat your quarters. But they would make sure that everything hard was absolutely crystal clear on why you died. If you died, you knew exactly what killed you, and you knew exactly what you should have done to not die, or had a decent idea of what you should have done to not die. There was never a trial and error. It was always a, damn it, I screwed up, I can do better. And so that's what the whole thought process behind designing Donkey Kong was. The original one with Jumpman Mario. Basically, let players get angry at themselves, not the game. So that there's like a sense of, I fucked up there. This is my fault. I need to be better at the game. And then they want to keep playing the game because they'll see what they did wrong and think, I can do better. I can do better than that. That's my fault. Like, if I weren't streaming and I hadn't already played the crap out of that game, I probably would have persisted to try to beat the true ending on Star Fox 64. But the thing is, I've already seen it so many times. And I actually watched it recently, not that long ago, so I know what happens. So, but there's not like a huge motivation to beat it for me in the first place anymore, because I have. But if I were a new player to that game, I absolutely would be, like, totally into it. And actually, I was probably less familiar with the weaker ending than the strong one, because as a kid, I did the hard ending way more than I did the easy one. Which is kind of funny. Then I got old and bad at video games. Actually, I'm a little concerned about this. I don't really love this being haphazard here. It looks kind of crappy. But maybe if I... Oh! It should be a forest. All that work undone immediately. Okay, this is going to be a forest. Simple enough. I do kind of want to play Ocarina of Time, though. I feel like I could beat that game. Not fast, but I feel like I wouldn't get stuck. I don't think there's anything in there that I would find super, super hard. Unlike Star Fox, I've played Zelda games relatively recently enough that I think that everything except archery I would do okay with. I don't think you have to be fantastic at archery in that game. But yeah. Anyway. Anyway, what tree? What tree do we want today? Actually, let's go with some blue ones. Oh, this is one of my favorite dungeon musics. My favorite music tracks from a dungeon in Final Fantasy XIV. Called The Open Box. Excuse me. Autosave. Look how nice autosave is now. Oops. Turn on the... Yeah. Okay. Now, save there quick. I need to figure out what kind of trees I want on this map. Oh, wait a minute. I don't even need trees for one. Well, I do need trees, but I I can make this not even super clustered by doing this. Yeah. By the way, here's some trivia. Don't buy Star Wars Hunters by Zynga. Tell your friends not to get it either if they're thinking about it. Although I think it's dead anyway, which is good. Zynga is the worst video game company. Well, sort of. It's their fault. Well, it is partly their fault that monetization became such a thing, because their whole claim to fame in video game design is that they stole other people's ideas and then marketed it better, and then design basically made money off it. Yeah, it's some game that apparently is dead. I don't know. Hopefully dead. Okay, so as much as I have a bias against Star Wars Disney canon, I hate Star Wars Hunters because it's Zynga, not for anything Disney. I am actively hoping it fails. Yeah. I am actively hoping that game fails. Because Zynga's whole thing is... So I remember extra credits called Zynga not a studio of game designers, but a studio of lawyers and accountants. Should give you an idea. They're basically, hey, what if we didn't make any ideas and just copied others' ideas, but then marketed them better? And then made a ton of money. And then we introduced microtransactions. Like, they're basically game design, but without, like, the caveat that game designers generally care about their work. Yeah. I'm hoping it dies. I really want it to fail. And that's not a Disney thing, that's just a Zynga thing. I want Zynga to fail. Yeah. People think they have a bad reputation because they mostly make mobile games. But it's honestly, well, they mostly make mobile games now, but they honestly got their start on Facebook games, I'm pretty sure. Which is like a time period people have forgotten. I should make a video on Facebook games, maybe. But, like, I don't know. How's that? This is... I'm still not 100% sure what the aesthetic I want to go for is, but I'm thinking sort of a jungle, maybe? Well, mountains with, like, vines and stuff coming out of them, I hope. I just hope it looks good. Excuse me. Ugh. I need a stretch. Add some kind of farm with crops or fruit trees. Interesting. I don't think farm, but only because I don't have space. I did want to like make some sort of lower valleys and put some like animals back there, but we'll see. I should add a texture here. Let me save in case there's a crash. Actually, in theory, there should be fewer crashes, so who knows? I'm cautious by practice now, though. This is dirt rock. Let's make this dirt rock. And we'll make this good ground. But this will now be mud, I think. Bit of a big change, but let's see how it goes. No, I hate it. It's too much. Let's try temperate rock. Sound just suddenly cut out for me, but I'm pretty sure that's just on my end and how my computer's been lately. Oh wait, it might be under M for mountain. I think MTN? Yeah. Oh, wait, I lost it. Oh, here we go. Is it mountain temp? Here we go. Is this right? Actually, what if I went with this? Ugh, looks awful. Autosave. Ugh, so ugly. No. Absolutely not. That's hideous. Oh, I can't go back. That's okay. Find something. I swear there's a... Hang on. Yeah, better safe than sorry. This one. Oh, okay. What if it was brown? With a specular of brown? Nice, maybe. Or a specular of green. I suppose the heavy fog does help quite a bit, though. Oh, the way that blends in is just beautiful. Maybe I'll have to do some blending, like make this vegetation color. These, I don't know. Let's try grass. problem is I don't really know what look I want to go for. Although I kind of like this. Now that I'm looking at this, I actually kind of like this. I mean, let's shop around, but I'm a bit more sold on the idea of grass colors now. Let's see if there's a good fuchsia color. Oh. Hello, I like you. Let's try the other asteroid type. Let's stick with this one. It's a bit prettier. Okay. Let's save. Is there any fuchsia texture? Well, this is pretty. This might be a good choice. Let's put this forest dirt here. Fuchsia rock. That was what I was looking for. I don't know if it's the right kind, but I'm going to hold on to it. I can use this for landing zones, maybe. Oops. Let's try... Forest grass is pretty. Let's try fuchsia rock. Oh. What do you think? 1 or 2? You know, this one, we'll call this G, and this one H. G, H. G, H. G. Yeah, I was thinking G as well. H actually matches the texture of these things, but with the bump, it's just a little too different. Alright. I think that's going to do it for today. I will probably make more progress off stream, but it'll just be like the mountain tech terrain stuff. I'll try not to do any exciting texturing or forestry. And I probably will try to bully NMS into testing it. Actually, wait, let's, before we stop. This will be to mark the infantry only path. Oh, it actually goes out for quite a ways. One second. Okay, that's close enough. Right. We'll save. Reset the AI data. Save again. It is good. It is night for me, and I'll close this, and I'll push this on GitHub, which you guys can't see. Anyway, thanks Actbricks and Opoder for staying around. You guys have a nice night. I think it's night for everyone here, probably. I'll continue this maybe Sunday. But maybe I should... No, probably Sunday. Anyway, good night.